again. It's been a while since we did a vacuum video, so this is a Dirt Devil model 702 Broomvac from 1992. Now back in 1990 through 1991, I really wanted one of these. And I almost bought one with my allowance money. I remember I was 8, 9 years old at the time. But I didn't. But let's just say I did. This could have been a very special episode or a very, very special episode if it was still the original. But no, I didn't. This I just recently acquired. It only took me 35 years to get one. And it always intrigued me because during this time, most vacuums were going to the front fill. The bags were in the front, or they had the hard cover covering up the bag, or different designs coming in the 90s, but this still had the traditional bag in the rear. But it's still a top fill bag. One thing that always intrigued me about Dirt Devils from this time was their color scheme, the very, very redness of them, I guess you could say. And then the unique bag, how it just says Royal all over it. And that always intrigued me. Because I'm actually a big fan of Royal vacuums. As you can see here, I don't have that many, but these are the one models I do have. I've done videos on. I'll provide links for it in the description. But yeah, I only have 2 Royal uprights, and I should have more, I guess. But this is just like an upright based on a hand vac. Though this one has a 3 amp motor. But this is a small upright. The brush roll I believe, is only 9 inches wide. And it's meant to be as a secondary vacuum or a quick vacuum to run on some rugs. However, it can clean a whole house too. It just might take a little longer because it's not as wide. But this is a small vacuum and very lightweight. And despite it only being a 3 amp motor, it actually has pretty good suction. It does a pretty good job. But Dirt Devil was basically a mainstream vacuum at the time. It's mostly plastic, whereas actual Royal uprights are all metal, and you buy a Royal upright, you buy it for life. It's designed to last a lifetime. All metal construction and everything. Not to say these are bad, it's just these are just the cheaper variant. Meant to stay in line with the likes of, at the time, Hoover, Eureka, and other makes. Where Royal was a premium specialty vacuum you buy at a vac shop. So in typical fashion, let's take a look what I had to do to this vacuum. So here's first time even trying it before restoration. The belt that was on it, so who knows if that's even going to work. The outer bag is filthy. The paper bag is used, so it's going to smell when I go to use it. But this will be a good test. So the belt is slipping horribly, and basically almost stalling the brush roll. There's another vacuum there. We purchased a rug doctor, and yes, there is something on the floor there that needs addressed. So, for cleaning up, 1, it does stink. That's to be expected. 2, it does have really good suction. 3, the brush roll is pretty much stalling out. So let's get started with the cleanup on this. So I gotta do that. It came this way. One of the prongs is bent. This is my first time using one of these, but little did I know, and I might not be able to do this one-handed, the bag actually slips out from this holder here, so let's do that. And there's inside the cloth bag, which is disgusting, with the used paper bag we got to get rid of. And the type of bag is very reminiscent of a Hoover Type A bag, if how it hooks in. So how do we clean this bag? Well, into the Speed Queen we go. Bag in. So, we will do delicate, cold, small, heavy, and go. First time this bag's probably been washed in 30 some years, 35 years close to. I wonder if I should add more water. It looks awfully violent. That's better. It has a bit more movement now to float around. It's going to make some noise because it has that plastic tube in there. But obviously that tube's going to get nice and clean now. Look how nasty that water is now. Holy crap. I can't even see the bag anymore. Nasty. Now it's going to pause because it's on delicate. Ew, look at that water. There's chunks in it. Nasty. Does anybody how nasty that thing is? We're doing a second rinse. That's pretty nasty. Yeah, looks like I definitely have to do a second rinse. Oh boy. I took a paper towel and wiped some of that off the drum in there. Ew. Slight change of plans. We're going to do a second wash followed by 2 rinses now because this is pretty bad. Yeah, that was a good call on doing this with a second wash and 2 rinses. Not as bad as the first, but that water still is pretty cloudy. Yeah, there it is on the soak again. It's still pretty bad. Ew. Yep. All right. First rinse after the second wash. A lot of suds in there, so the second rinse will be beneficial here. We'll get it all out. And here is the final rinse. It is perfectly clean and clear now. Excellent. And forgive any background noise. That is the 1982 Emerson 24-inch whole house fan. Link in the upper right if interested. So this is the vacuum as found. Handle just simply screws on. It's not a very big thing, and it is quite lightweight. As you can see, it has a lot of scuff marks all over, but we're going to see if we can remedy that. And let's see, this should pull out, so hang on. Yeah, it even has something wrapped around there too. That's the belt that came with. As you can see, it has a plastic fan. This was on there when I bought it. It was actually identifying it for eBay, so we got to take that off. Okay, so let's get this thing apart. Let's see, 2 screws, and then this should pop off. All right, both screws are out, and it's absolutely disgusting in here. So yeah, the original belt was pretty much done for at this point. It would have broken very shortly. And those are clogged. That's pretty disgusting looking. Ew. The one time it picked up a popcorn kernel. How old is that thing? Alright, that's 4 screws. I don't think there's anything else we need together. Yeah, this belt, Lord. So now we should just set up. No, not actually. Alright, this is December, yes. Okay, good, this comes off. So, let's just pull out. Let's try this. But I very carefully scrape off this label. Add some lighter fluid. It turns out to take it all off, and I hate to do that. Oh yeah, sound good. Alright, what does this thing do? It's coming up without. Well, yeah, it's a good thing we're taking it apart. It is pretty disgusting on the inside. It's like sand in there. See, this is just the, ooh. Is this? No, that's just dirt. Many, many years of dirt. Okay, what? Okay, this comes off. Okay. This is my first time ever having one of these apart. Okay. Yeah, it's a good thing I am taking this off. This has a bunch of crud just wrapped around here. It's a plastic motor. Okay, we have a date. May 7th, 1992. So this thing is 33 years old in about a week from now. I'm recording this on May 1st, 2025. Alright. Okay, looks like I can easily just pull the wires out of here. So, okay. It's one of these types. And you just press it back in when you're done. And then the power cord. So it looks like it switches both sides of the power cord. Interesting. So, let's pull one of these out. Alright, and the other. Yeah, that one was in there good. Alright, the motor appears to be held together with 4 screws. So, take the motor apart. Okay, all I have to do now is just clean the fan by hand. I'm going to do it by hand. I don't know if this is this press fit on or what, but I'm not even attempt to take it off. But I managed to get almost all the crap off of it. And there was a felt seal on the front of the motor. I'm just going to glue it back together and glue it back on. So this actually looked like it was just hair like the rest, but it's a felt seal, so we'll have to fix that. Now the rest of the parts, into the parts washer it goes, because
Well, Daddy Bear puts it in the dishwasher and it comes out looking like brand new.
Also the entire power cord is going into that of Simple Green in the ultrasonic cleaner, because it has the obligatory paint blotches all over it. So for an hour at 50 degrees Celsius, so may have to put someone here to push that down. Okay, I got the fan cleaned by hand, because I can't get the fan off, and I don't want to force it off because I don't know how these go together. Just as a safety thing. But the motor itself was just clean. No dirt was really in it. Just wait for the outer casing to get clean and we'll reassemble it. I mean, there are the brushes. They're like brand new still. I'm going to put these two in the ultrasonic and put this one in the parts washer. There's one thing, and there's a difference between a full-fledged Royal and a Dirt Devil. The Dirt Devil has a lot more plastic parts on it. Alright, getting ready to reassemble. Front bearing is a ball bearing. It's fine. This is the rear bearing, and it's a sleeve bearing, but I'm looking at it. It is dry, and it is a dry bearing. It's most likely graphite impregnated, judging by the sparklies. The whole thing is slick. So what you do with these, you just clean them. And there's one thing I learned that also applies to stuff like dryers, rollers, and stuff. Those are dry bearings, and you don't lubricate them, you merely clean them if they start squeaking or whatever. Don't put any oil on it. Yes, I have done that. I've put oil in the past, but as you educate yourself further, you learn more things as you go along, and that's one of the things I learned. So we'll just make sure this bearing is clean, and we'll put it back on. Alright, now let's attempt to reassemble this thing after cleanup here. Alright, so one thing I just found out, make sure the wires are coming out on this side where that little notch is, because it will line up with this one, because that's where the wires exit. Now let's attempt to get this thing back in. Yeah, that wasn't bad. Okay, the brushes are in. Time to reassemble. Nope, that's not even the right hole. Okay, it's reassembled. All right, next step is, well, what's left of a Novus number 2 bottle, but it's a rebadge. It's an RCA Super Shield, found at the thrift store from the mid-90s, so it's 30 years old, but it still works. Smear it on first, and then obviously this won't get any super deep ones out, but if there's any white marks on this thing or whatever, it takes it right off. Well, pretty good on the first try, but there's still a little bit of white scuffs on it. Wow. Yeah. See, I didn't have this little hand buffer before. Now, obviously, the deep gouges will not come out because they're deep, but what's left of it, though, I mean, this will take out all the imperfections otherwise. All right, the motor reinstalled. That's how it wires into the switch. So the two screws here are the long ones. All right. This goes like that. Now to finish it off, some Novus 1. See, it slips in like that. Okay, that roughly in the center. It should just carefully stretch over. And now the brush roll. It's like the same, almost the same kind they put in the, it is the same thing that goes in the full Royal uprights, wooden. But you can adjust the brush depth, one for your, however you want, or for brush wear. This was on 1 when I got it, so we're gonna put it on 2 on both sides. We'll just stick the new belt, the old stock belt right there. Okay, both say 2. And now we'll put this bottom piece on. I think last time, okay, good. It's snapped in. All right, now I'm gonna put the flat belt on. So let's see. The flat part in the front goes up on the left side. So, okay, here we go. You know you have it correct because when the brush roll is rotating in the correct direction, it'll slip right back down onto the pulley, like so. Okay, now onto the handle. All right, now we got this all nice and clean. There we go. Quite a little bit of more effort. There's 2 little nubs on there. It has to slip over. So now it's on there. Now we know it's on there. We will attach it. See, there's a little nip there. Then this should just clip. Okay. Okay. And then I don't have the Broomvac sticker back on it yet, but I'll get to that later on. But as you saw, I had to remove it because it's right on that crease there. I had to open up the vacuum because it was absolutely filthy in there. It had that old dirt that got moist, you know, like in a damp basement or whatever, and it was disgusting. But now it's completely clean. And that is the gripper. So I guess you could clean the stairs with it very easily. I don't have any carpeted stairs to do that with. Also interesting how it says edge cleaning on both sides. You don't even really need to list that as a feature. They all pretty much do edge cleaning. Power switch is mounted down here. The handle is metal. And this always intrigued me, and now that I know what it really does, it's just weird. You can adjust the height of the handle. Storage, additional, whatever that would be. Normal use, plush carpet, and extra plush carpet. And it's more of a gimmick than anything, because all that means is, since the vacuum doesn't have any height adjustments, you make the handle longer, so I guess you put more weight on the back wheels, hence making it easier to push across like a shag carpet or whatever. And it's like, what would you use additional for? But it's one of those weird things. The first model, the 701, didn't even have it. And there's a model after this, the 712. That one has a 3.5 amp motor. And I might try to get those someday. But this is the one I wanted back in the day. So the bag, this clips onto this little piece here. No zipper on this bag. Power cord, got it all cleaned up. And there's your handle. So to finish off this video, we'll just give a quick demonstration of it. So we'll just turn it on down here. You can hear it has a lot of air suction going on. And as mentioned before, this has the same type of brush roll that would be on an actual Royal upright. I can't normally go under this. Look what I can do now. It fits right in there. You can see right where it fluffed the carpet up. And that's that. Now it smells actually pretty pleasant in here, not like it did when I first got it from that who knows how many decade-old dirt in that bag and nastiness. But that's all I got for this one. Thanks for watching.
I would like to extend a special thank you for the support of our star patrons, Lexmarks 567, Marlow Bear 72, and Matthew Best.
Alright, we're down here, let's see. Wow. Blooper there, it poofed the bag out with a bunch of dust. That's nice. I sort of figured that was going to happen, but